can go wherever you want, see whatever you want to, but a place is only as good as the people you know in it. I think this is a pretty good place. Welcome back, legends.
So I've heard that you want some more, you're ready and willing to settle the score. 90 plus episodes, yet so much in store. That amazing iceberg, we ain't hit the core, Ever wonder what made Devil Man cry, or why this guy can spy with his devilish eye? No need to question or prod and pry. Just watch me on YouTube till your neurons fry. Check it. Season 1 got that out of the way. Season 2 kid stuff, you know we don't play. Season 3 that's garbage, better throw it away. Season 4 in the door and it's here to stay. We got hours of info that you can't ignore, like a hit from Truckun or a Snorlax snore. Anime's the currency, and if you're feeling poor, just tune into Anime Legends Season. Hello, everybody. My name is AfroX, the Anime Guide, and you are watching the 13th episode of the 4th season of Anime Legends. In case you didn't know, in case you weren't looking at the title. Anyways, we got my biggest fan in here, and someone that I am dearly indebted to, Trix the Anime Hater. First of all, I just have to say, so you did come to the right video. We are talking about the worst backstories in anime today, specifically because it's the 13th episode. 13 is unlucky, and we are going to go through them to decide who is definitively the unluckiest character in all of anime. Trix says, yo, what's up, Trix? Now, Trix, right off the bat, so I did ask, and anybody who's watching this can go in the comments, who do you think is the unluckiest character in anime character in history? Trix said one would be the main character from Grave of the Fireflies. Now, I have seen Grave of the Fireflies. People have told me to watch it. It is on my priority list to look into. So there is that. So since today is kind of a big subject without much of a break in between, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the main sponsor, which turns out to be you. You out there are the main sponsors of the AfroX channel. And that is because you have the option to go to my Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/AfroX. But what happens if we go to the Patreon, Afro? I hear you asking out there. Well, my dear viewer, if you go to the Patreon, you can sign up to donate to the channel in increments of $5, $10, $30, $50, or $100 a month. Look at all that choice. Look at all that choice. It is beautiful. You can go there, sign up to donate once per month, and it will be only once per month. And no matter which pick, it's great. It's fine. Even $5 a month is great to me. You are definitely helping to support the channel. Now, you will get some great stuff if you do support the channel, by the way, and you can get rewards all the way from getting your name shown at the end of every edited video, all the way up to stuff like crazy stuff, like getting a signed thank you note from me, getting an AfroX t-shirt, and getting at the $100 a month level, you can even you'll even be invited to come on every live stream that I do, and you'll get 5 minutes. Yes, I said 5 minutes to plug your channel. No, that's not Frieza's 5 minutes. You're not going to get a half hour of time, but you will get just a standard 5 minutes. So that is, that is the sponsor for today. Trix over here says, I'm a sponsor. Sweet. Yeah, you're like the biggest sponsor. Trix over here donating $50 a month. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. You are amazing, Trix. Hey, That's why Tricks get the big announcement at the end of every video. So you see in the end card when I go Tricks the anime hater. That's because he donates $50 a month. That's what you get. That's the treatment you'll get if you decide to donate at least $30 a month. Yeah, that is all about the Patreon. Anyway, moving on to the topic of today, the worst anime backstories of all time. Now, I have to make a few rules here. I have to make a few specifications because there's a lot. If you threw a stone at all of anime, you would hit a sad backstory. So we're gonna make some specific rules here. One is gonna be we are only going to allow one sad backstory from Dressrosa in One Piece because Dressrosa shouldn't have been called Dressrosa. It should have just been called Sad Backstory. Um, because there are so many sad backstories in Dressrosa in One Piece. So just that alone is going to be a caveat. So there's that. And also, unfortunately, we're not going to include anime movies. So, Tricks, you did mention Grave of the Fireflies, but unfortunately not going to be counted just because I haven't watched a lot of anime, or there's a lot of anime movies that I haven't watched. And also, anime movies have more time to flesh out sad backstories, and that doesn't really make it fair to the actual animes and stuff. Okay. Also, I must say that these sad backstories are not in any particular order. They're not being ranked. They are just ones that pop into my head as we're going forward. Right off the bat, I feel like we should probably try to decipher what is the saddest backstory in Dressrosa. Since I did mention that, there's a few sad ones, but if we are talking about worst pain that has ever happened, not at the fault of the character that it's happening to, I would probably have to put the combination between Thunder Soldier, Baby 5, and Trafalgar Law. So I'm immediately going to take away Trafalgar Law. He had a very sad backstory. His entire village that he lived in was genocided. He only survived by sneaking across the border to another country, and in order to hide from the people who were killing everyone, he had to hide in a pile of dead bodies. And then also he had a terminal disease that would have killed him. And pretty much as a young boy, he had to join up with a pirate crew or risk dying. So that was all very tough, but Law got saved from his situation and grew up to be a well-adjusted person. And that's why I'm taking him out of the contention for saddest backstory in Dressrosa. So moving on to Baby 5. Baby 5's backstory, she wasn't really abused, but her backstory was kind of it affects her even to this day. So pretty much Baby 5's backstory is that she was born into a poor family in a poor village, and all the villagers went to her mother and said, "Why was this baby even born? She's useless to us. She's not doing any work, not getting anything done, because she's just a child." And so her mother brought her out into the woods and abandoned her there, just left her there, told her she was useless. And it is implied, it's not exactly said, but it is implied that her name is Baby Five because her mother didn't love her so much that she never got a name. She was simply the fifth baby. Um, so that is a tough backstory. Uh, Moving on to Thunder Soldier, or more accurately, Kyros. So Kyros was turned into a toy by Sugar after trying to fight Doflamingo to stop him from taking over Dressrosa. He was turned into a toy. So when you are, just a quick backstory about Sugar's power, when you are turned into a toy, everybody forgets that you ever existed. They lose all memories of you, and if you try to express in any way that you are a toy or tell people who you are, um your speech will come out as gibberish, and no one will be able to understand you. Um, and so this happened to Kyros, who also, by the way, cut off his leg to get out of chains that he was in, that Doflamingo had put him in. So cut off his leg, got turned into a toy. Then Doflamingo's like right hand man subordinate, Diamante, murders his wife in front of him, and all he can do is hold his dead wife's body while his dying wife says, dying wife, while his dying wife says, "I'm sorry, I don't know who you are." And in his brain, he just screams out, "I'm Kyros, I'm your husband," and he can't he can't express this to his dying wife. Um, and then he goes on to raise his daughter, who, by the way, has no idea who he is at all. Um, and this is absolutely devastating. And I think, in terms of emotional trauma and emotional pain, um, I think Thunder Soldier takes the cake for being the worst backstory in all of Dressrosa. Um, Although Baby Five was willing to unalive herself in order to be useful to someone, so that's some big influencer, but so much was taken from Kyros. Um, so that is super big. Moving on a little bit bigger, now we're going to look at what is the worst backstory in all of One Piece. And I think you guys know what's coming, just based on what just based on what we've been reading about in the recent chapters of One Piece. But I think I can honestly say Bartholomew Kuma has the saddest backstory in all of One Piece. Pretty much from the get-go, born to be a slave to the Celestial Dragons because of the Buccaneer blood that ran through his veins. And pretty much just was hunted down by the Celestial Dragons on God Valley. He did manage to escape with Ginny, stuff like that. But there were some really tough times. Um, Eventually, the king of the Sorbet Kingdom being evil and him having to fight back against him, and Ginny getting sick and dying, and then Bonnie also getting sick with the same disease and stuff like that. And all of this really combining to be, and also at the same time, like him taking the physical pain of all the elderly people that were getting abused by this king in the Sorbet Kingdom, and then all of it coming together to be just the fact that this saint, this very, very good man, was constantly abused and beaten down, and really just very much hurt by the entire world. And then all of it, everything that made him him, his personalities, everything was stripped away, and he was made into a cyborg. Um, and pretty much he spent his whole life trying to escape from slavery, trying to help others escape from slavery, and pretty much his whole life has been him sacrificing himself for other people and him being in bondage and slavery and under the control of other people. He even went back and was under and was a slave for the what was it? Celestial dragons once again. And so I definitely put as far as like pain, trauma, everything like that, I would definitely say Bartholomew Kuma's backstory has to be the worst backstory in all of One Piece. Moving out, branching out from here, let's talk about another one of the big three. So let's talk about Naruto. So I think and I feel like this has to take the cake, but I think Sasuke's backstory has to be the most brutal out of anyone in Naruto, specifically because Itachi murdered his pretty much. Imagine that the hometown you grew up in, like a small little hometown. Imagine one guy who was super nice, was like just getting up in the ranks of the police department. He was super cool, super good to everyone. Went out to parades, helped the needy, stuff like that. Imagine that one day he just snapped and he murdered everybody in your entire town. Your entire town turns into a ghost town in one night. Um, so but this guy happens to this is what happened to Sasuke. So his older brother Itachi murdered pretty much their entire clan. Um, and Sasuke like saw Itachi actually murder his parents as well. And on top of all of this, so then Itachi says, "But I'm going to spare." He says he's going to spare Sasuke. Um, and at the time when he's regaling the story, he says, "I spared you so you could gain enough hatred to come back and fight me." But what was really messed up was after this all happened, like this is bad for like a child, and this is when Sasuke was like under 10 years old. He was like 7 years old when this happens, 5 to 7. And so all of this is bad. But what is worse is that Itachi put a genjutsu onto Sasuke so that Sasuke, as a child, had to rewatch this entire night happen hundreds and thousands of times over and over and over again. Because Sasuke, he kind of tones it down a bit, but Sasuke later on in the story says, like, my brother even haunted my dreams. Every night he would go to sleep and it would be a rewatch of his brother murdering his entire clan and his family. And honestly, that kind of a hell to go through would be absolutely horrible. And I definitely understand why Sasuke came out the way he did when he got into like the Hidden Leaf Village and stuff. But yeah, I think that takes the cake for most brutal backstory. But I mean, there's some honorable mentions there. I mean, honestly, there's obviously the whole thing with Obito seeing Kakashi kill Rin, and all the pain that he went through as a kid, getting crushed by a rock, and pretty much just all the pain that Obito had to go through was pretty brutal as well. Moving on to Dragon Ball, just the Dragon Ball series in general. I was gonna say Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball series. It's kind of hard with the Dragon Ball series. But I mean, honestly, if we want to talk about brutal backstories, the one that had the most lasting effect and did the most damage was probably probably Broly's backstory, to be honest. I mean, even though and first I'm going to talk about DBZ Broly, and then I'll talk about DBS Broly. So, um, pretty much DBZ Broly, um, it kind of less so, but pretty much as a baby, constantly. So as a baby, him and Goku were in like these tubes that kind of like would incubate Saiyans to get them ready to like be warriors out in the world and stuff. And when he was in the tube, he was right next to Goku, who he knew as Kakarot, and Goku just cried like all the time, would not be quiet. And it drove Broly insane. And that is honestly the reason why he came to Earth and just was after Goku like so vehemently. But DBS Broly kind of got a worse deal. And I know it runs the line, but I'm gonna kind of include this. I know I said no anime movies, and Dragon Ball Super Broly is technically an anime movie, but it's still canon to the DBS universe. Um, and so like DBS Broly's backstory is kind of worse just because um like pretty much King Vegeta um exiled him and his father to uh like like a distant planet, and that it was simply because like they found out that Broly was going to be stronger than Vegeta. um and King Vegeta was like, nope, I don't like that at all. um and so he just straight up exiles him to like lone planet. And I think like they actually got lost too, like they were just shot off in a random direction. But um then yeah, and then Broly like growing up fighting all the creatures on the planet and stuff. And then like he makes friends with the like giant monster named Bao, I think its name was. But he eventually had to kill Bao, I think, because it went crazy. Um, but yeah, I'd honestly say Broly definitely takes the cake for saddest Dragon Ball backstory. Um, hey, we got Cryo Prime in the house. Says station to you as well, Cryo. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's so many. The main character from Tokyo Ghoul, which I haven't seen Tokyo Ghoul, but like the reason he turns into a ghoul is because he gets kidnapped, and the guy who kidnaps him is trying to turn him into a ghoul, and like he has to have a centipede put into his brain, um, which is absolutely horrible. Um, I mean, heck, Chainsaw Man, pretty much the really poor dude gets in debt and has to take jobs killing demons. And then it turns out that they weren't going to take away his debt at all, and like it turns out his boss is a demon, there is a devil, so that's tough. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's flipping so many sad backstories. I mean, even if you want to talk about the ones that aren't technically backstories, like straight up Shao Tucker turning his kid and his dog into a chimera. Um, like yeah, Ed had to give them like a merciful death, but still, that's a really messed up backstory. Well, I mean, Ed and Alphonse too. Like, they have a messed up backstory of trying to like bring their mother back from the dead and messing that up and stuff like that. Um, and I mean, sad backstories. If we're really trying to rank them, really trying to rate them, stuff like that. Uh, they really, I'd say that the hallmark of a sad backstory has to be that that like so much bad has happened to the character, and they have either been too good to fight against it or not had the ability to fight against it. Um, and I mean, losing someone very precious is uh, very hard to go through. Um, so I mean, yeah. But let me know in the comments, stuff like that. What do you think? Who do you think has the worst backstory in all of anime? I'd actually say that Bobo has the saddest backstory, specifically because he can um, completely alter his own backstory whenever he wants. Um, let's check out the chat. All right. So Trix says Dressrosa, I would say the King, Law, and Bellamy. The King did have a pretty tough time, but I mean, not turned into a toy, which honestly, like would have been worse in a way. And Bellamy, um, I mean, Bellamy's backstory is he kind of started out as a jerk, and to be honest, he kind of got a lot of what he deserved. Um, Drake says dropping Kuma story is not fair. It has so many feels. That's true. And I was actually kind of scared to drop it just because a lot of it is spoilers for the current One Piece manga. So sorry out there, anybody who got spoiled. I hope not, but I know Trix is current in the manga. For Naruto, I would say Kakashi with Danzo, Kisame, and Sasuke coming close. Yeah. Didn't Kisame say he like actually had to like eat his other siblings in the womb or something like that? Kakashi with Danzo. I don't remember. I don't remember what was like super sad about Kakashi's backstory. Um, I mean, more so Obito. Obito had the sad parts in it. Dragon obviously goes to Future Trunks. Okay, see, I like that you brought up Future Trunks here. Future Trunks did have a pretty sad backstory, specifically just because not only did like the androids come and destroy pretty much his entire world that was around him, but I mean, I mean, like then having to see Gohan, his mentor, die, and just like pretty much knowing that the world is gonna end, there's nothing he could do, and having to be tasked with like going back in time and stuff. That is super tough. Full Metal Alchemist, I would say Scar. Now, since I haven't watched Brotherhood, in the original Full Metal Alchemist, they don't give a lot of information on Scar, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you know more than me on Scar's backstory. Claire from Claymore is up there for me. Haven't seen a Red Claymore. I'm missing a lot of sad stuff right here, and maybe it's for the better. I don't know. Trixis had to pick the sadness, though many come to mind. Yeah, he said eat them, or he had to eat them. Talking about Kisame's siblings. So yeah, that is deep. I gotta say, you bring up Kisame, and it reminds me of one of my favorite parts in a video I've made. One of my favorite editing experiences. Um, when I was making a crap guide to Naruto Shippuden, at the part where Kisame has his own sharks eat him, he unalives himself. Uh, um, in order to not give out Akatsuki secrets, I put Kisame don't snitch, and that's one of my favorite ones. Uh, someday, I'd love to put just Kisame don't snitch on a T-shirt, and see how many people actually understand what it means. That would be great. Uh, Kakashi back was how he constantly had those he cared or tried to care for die and learned to accept it regardless because he is a ninja which shapes him. Yeah, that is true. He did have a lot of people die. I mean, well, actually, that does bring up something big. While we're on the topic of like the Naruto anime, Naruto's backstory was brutal. Naruto's backstory was super brutal. Um, I'd honestly say top three sad backstories in Naruto. Um, I can't even do top three. We got to go like top four. Um, uh, Gara's Gara's backstory put me in tears every time. uh Literally his mother dies because she gave up the one tails which is put into him, and then like um what is it, I can't even remember the name of his friend, but the name of his friend who like takes care of him and is super nice to him. um I can't remember their name, but they're like super nice and super kind to him. And then and his father hates him, and then he gets attacked. And it turns out that the guy attacking him was his friend, and his friend tells him, "You know what? Actually, I always thought you were a monster. I never loved you." And on top of that, like your mother said she never loved you. Like Gara, you were never loved ever. And you're telling this to a like 5-year old. You're telling a 5-year old that their mother who died never loved them. And so like, and then he's like, yeah, the Kazakage like told me to come out here and get rid of you, like kill you. But that like he didn't even have to, the guy didn't even have to tell me, like, I actually hate you so much that I decided that I would like to give my own life to make sure you are destroyed. So like his best friend in the entire world, the only person who was ever nice to him, blows themselves up to try to destroy Gara. And then in that pain and rage, um because he wants to be able to feel something, anything, Gara carves the kanji for the word love into his own forehead with his sand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, right under Sasuke's, right under Sasuke's for the worst Naruto backstory. Um, yeah, that is, it's deep and it gets me every time. So yeah, if I had to put it really in perspective, if I had to put everything in perspective, I'd say Sasuke's backstory most brutal, just because of having to rewatch the entire murder like thousands of times. Gara's backstory right under that. Um, Naruto's backstory, Obito's backstory. So, and still, even saying that, like those four in Naruto, those are some intense backstories. And so, like, even putting Obito's at the bottom isn't even sneezing at it. But yeah, thank you for bringing up Naruto again. And yeah, Kakashi's backstory was very difficult, but honestly, there's many, many more sad backstories. Um, uh, oh, you were talking to Cryo in that. Cryo says Claymore is one of his faves. Trick says, I forgot about Naruto himself. Yeah. Naruto's backstory is sad mostly because he was alone. Like Naruto's backstory makes up for loss and bloodshed and trauma with just being lonely and nobody liking him. Um Gara's uncle was the one that was taking care of him. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. It was his uncle because he says my sister died so that you could be born. Um, or you took my sister's life away from me. Uh, but yeah. So um, honestly, like, yeah. So if I had to take all of the backstories we've talked about today, um, all of them, from Thunder Soldier, Law, Baby Five, Bartholomew Kuma, um, Naruto, Gara, Sasuke, Obito, and all the rest. If I had to pick one of them that had to be the worst or most traumatic, mm, I'd have to take Kuma's. I'd have to take Kuma's. I mean, Sasuke's is pretty high up there. But the thing with Naruto characters is that their backstories are when they were children. And so eventually they grow to have people that love them and accept them and like value them. Kuma didn't get that. Kuma's entire life, Kuma's entire life was brief moments of happiness, brief short spans of maybe like 10, 15 years of happiness. But besides that, all pain. Like being put in slavery by the celestial dragons who are not kind, who don't have one shred of empathy at all. Being put in slavery to celestial dragons twice, being born into slavery and then being put back in it. Um, Having to watch his the person he loved the most in the world, having to watch the person he loved the most in the world die, um, and not getting to hear her express how she felt, um, which was partially his fault. But then spending years, spending years looking for a cure to stop his daughter from dying the same way. Um, and all of that, him being super good to everybody, helping out the poor, things like that. And at the end, or more accurately, at the beginning of the story, when he is introduced as the tyrant king Bartholomew Kuma. So his good name absolutely slandered. He and all people ever know of him in this world is that he is a unthinking, unfeeling robot controlled by the world government, that if the world government doesn't like you, they will order him to blow up like your entire island with an Ursa shock if they really want to. And that's all they know is a saint who was framed and turned into a monster against his will. Um, and that's got to be the saddest backstory, at least of all the ones we covered today. Um, Trick says Kuma hit too hard. Uh, that is very very true. Um, so, uh, kind of to pivot here. Speaking of things that are not sad, I would like to make a huge announcement and say that I am extremely happy because, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the AfroX channel has passed 400 subscribers. We're currently at 401. Um, road to 500, very, 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 very short and near and right in front of us. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so just to let you guys know, if you want to check me out on other stuff, we do have an AfroX Facebook page. We also have the AfroX official fan club Facebook group, and you can join that. I'll be put in a chat to know when my videos are not going to be coming out. And you might say, hey, Afro, why would we want to know when your videos are not coming out? Well, you're going to want to know when my videos are not coming out so that if I take a break, like Oda frequently does, not saying we're equal at all, we are not the same. But you will know when that happens. Anyways, check out we have the TikTok account, which is AfroX_YT. We have the Instagram account, which is the legendary Afro_X. We have the Discord group, which is the AfroX AMA. By the way, all of these can be found in the descriptions of my edited videos, technically, except for the one that went up today because I tried some new stuff. But anyways, and we have the X account, formerly known as Twitter, which is at the real Afro X. So you can find all of those. Check them out. Also, check out my other projects, my actual career, which is DJ Blackjack. That's on Facebook. For my career, I am a DJ. Or as professionals would say, disc jockey. Yeah, so, and then also recently, and now I can officially say this, but I am a trivia host. And I will be starting hosting trivia in Shakopee, Minnesota in not too many weeks, to be frankly honest. So I am very, very happy for that. So yeah, I believe that covers everything. I'm a YouTuber, I'm a DJ, I'm a trivia host. I'm just an entertainer in general. But yeah, that is all for this week. This is the worst anime backstories of all time. Oh, and I wanted to say, if you notice anything different about the newest edited video that I put up, I will say that I upgraded to Filmora 13. Which has been absolutely revolutionary, and I would not have been able to finish this week's video without it. It is amazing. I put in the audio to my video. It automatically generated the text that I needed, did a little bit of editing work on it, but it was done in like 2 hours, and I couldn't have done it without it. Filmora 13, very, very great product, and so the pictures that you see in the newest video are AI generated, and so is the text. But yeah, I'm going to be working to bring you some more cool stuff in the future with Filmora 13. Trick says, like the fact I thought Vegeta was on a podcast. And saw the picture you posted. Quite stylish you were. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that, Trix, and that was kind of the idea. I thought it would be funny to have Vegeta read some quotes about peace. But yeah, anyway, that's all for this week. Keep YouTubing, YouTubers. Don't fight the fro. And always remember to stay legendary. See you later, YouTube. Bye-bye. Did I just do a Waluigi there?